Hi everyone, today we are starting with communication. Actually, I'm starting and ending also with communication. After this, I will not be doing any videos. So I'm just stopping my YouTube channel. See, the moment you listen to this, you'll say, what? What is she talking about? That is what is communication. When I want the other person to understand what I'm trying to say and I make a common understanding and I exchange my views and ideas between two people, that is me and you, who are responding to it and who must have given a fraction of second reaction, that's what is communication. So communication in Latin means common, or it means communis. Communis means common understanding. It means exchange of views and ideas between two or more people. Of course, those views and ideas are sent by a sender. So here, who is communicating? I am sending. I am the sender. I am sending the content to you. Now, what am I sending? The content is in form of a message. What kind of message is it? It is about business studies, a chapter. Then what is a media? Media is YouTube, media is social media, media is verbal. So I'm speaking. This is my way of communicating the message to you. Now I'm sending in the language which you can understand and you can give a response to it. So when you can understand something, what you are doing is you're encoding it, and when you're able to actually decipher that what I have told, or when you're able to understand what I'm speaking something, it is encoded. When you understand the same in the same language, it is called decoding. And this message gets completed when there's a feedback from your side that yes or no we have followed or not. So whenever you send your comments like thumbs up or any kind of comment on the YouTube, I get to know that you followed the chapter or you followed that particular topic. So this is what is all about communication. Now, meaning here, communication is the process of exchange of information between two or more persons to reach common understanding. So there is a common understanding between two people. Communication has been derived from a Latin word communis, and which means common, that is common understanding. It is understood as a process. It's a process. Why it's a process? Because we're going to do this process. I have made this process out here for you. It's a process of what? Of exchange of ideas. Again, there is exchange of ideas, views, facts, feelings, etc. between or among people to create common understanding. So when we want a common understanding to be created, there's an exchange of views and ideas. It is known as communication. Now, the elements of communication also include the process of communication. Like I told you, I am the sender to you. When you are listening to my video, you are the receiver. So it means person who conveys his thoughts or ideas to receiver. Sender represents source of communication. I am the one who's sending my content to you. How it reaches to you? It reaches in the form of message. The content is whatever I'm sending to you is my content, my ideas, my feeling, my suggestions, order, whatever is to be communicated, that is what is message. It is encoded. Why it is encoded? I'm speaking in English. It is encoded in such a manner, it is represented in such a manner that you are able to decode it. So it is a process. Again, encoding is a process of converting the message, this message which has been sent, into communication symbols such as words, pictures, gestures. If I say this, you know it's bye-bye. Immediately the picture is created and you speak bye-bye. If I say this, you know it's namaste. So it's again the gesture you are well aware of. If I just simply say wow, you know that I'm talking about something. So that word has a particular kind of setting in your mind. Suppose if I talk about a parrot, then you won't call an elephant a parrot. You know that a parrot is a bird and an elephant is an animal. So you know that difference in the both. And that's how you're going to differentiate. That picture you make and immediately you're able to understand, decode it immediately. Now, there's going to be a media. It is the path, rasta, the way, path through which encoded message is transmitted to the receiver. Our media is what? Social media. Our media is what? My oral sending the messages to you. The channel may be written form, face-to-face, phone call, internet. So it can be internet, it can be written form, it can be face-to-face, it can be phone calls, it can be any ways, it can be the way I'm doing right now. Decoding. It is a process of communicating encoded symbols of the sender. So whatever sender has sent you, like I told you, if I say elephant, you won't think of a dog barking. You know elephant is different. It's a huge, very huge animal. So if I say, in general, if I just come out and say, okay, tell me children, what is it which flies in the sky and is green in color? You won't think of a crow. You know that green in color would be parrot only, and has a pointed beak, and that beak is red in color and can sometimes copy human beings. So I'm talking about parrot, I'm not talking about crow, until unless you think human being does caw like a crow. Okay, so it is process of converting encoded symbols of the sender, whatever in symbols the sender has sent. When you decode it, it is known as decoding. I'll give you an example out here. See, when we were very small, and we used to write letters to our friends, because not much of communication was allowed after school. It was difficult to meet friends, so we used to write and exchange letters. So in order to avoid our mothers to know that what we are writing in the letter, we used to use some kind of symbols like this. This was one way we encoded our, okay, I'm just putting it for you. So if I had to write, if I'm writing something like this, just see. What is it written here? Can you encode it? It is D E A R, dear. Encoded and decoded. So that is what communication talks about. This was actually a coded language used by the army personnel, military organization way back in the World War, but we just made our own kind of language, and we try to use it. So why? Because we wanted to communicate something personal which moms should not know about in this manner. Receiver. The person who receives communication, one who gets the communication, is the receiver of communication, and he receives it from the sender. Now what's a feedback? It includes all those actions of receiver indicating that he has received and understood the message of the sender. So when you say yes, when you send thumbs up, you are giving me a feedback. It should be positive. Okay. Noise. Next is noise. Now I'm speaking and suddenly my phone goes ding ding, or I'm just delivering a lecture, and since I'm doing it in a house, not in a studio, so there's a mobile which goes by, buk 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 buk. A bult is what we usually call it in Punjabi. A bullet I'm talking about, or a vendor goes screaming on top of his voice. So all these things which disrupt or become a hindrance to my communication is noise. It means some obstruction or hindrance of communication. This hindrance may be caused to sender or receiver. Of course, I'm sender, it's caused to me, and in case if I don't stop and if it reaches you, it is caused to you too. So either of the. Poor telephonic connection is caused to both sender and receiver both. Example, a poor telephone connection. An inattentive receiver, that's you people. When I'm speaking sometimes in online classes, your teachers are speaking and you're sleeping away to glory. Or you're what? You're inattentive receivers. Okay. Now here is the process of communication. We start with the sender 1, then the message travels, that you know, and then it goes through a media 3, and then there's a receiver 4. So you have sender, message. Now encoding becomes 3, and then media becomes 4. Okay, media becomes 4, and then your decoding becomes 5, right? And sender receiver becomes 6, and the 7th part in the whole communication process is feedback. So here we have the feedback given to us. So feedback, and then in between hindrance, this is your 8th point, is noise. So the process of communication complete. The process of communication properly done, right? This is what is introduction to communication. What we have to do is we have to talk about the barriers of communication next, and I'll be just giving you a little bit here and there, a kind of features of communication, so that you understand what exactly is it that when we need to discuss about the identification of communication. Alright, now continuing with communication, we are coming to the features of communication. Like I told you, these features are not there in the book, they are interwoven in between few of the lines. The intention is to tell you about the features as well as to tell you about that how we continue about communication, because the next topic which we have to really emphasize is on formal and informal communication. So I'll start with the features of communication. It is two-way process, sender, receiver. Sender sends the message, receiver receives the message, and receiver gives a feedback. So it's a two-way process. This has come as a board question also sometime, 1 mark. That is the reason why I'm giving this kind of these kind of features. It takes place between at least 2 or more people. I can't communicate with my own self, and if I do that, I'm a loner. I mean, I'm communicating with myself. Nobody is receiving. I am the one sender. I am the one who's a receiver. What's the communication? So there you need to have 2 or more people. It is dynamic in nature. Yes, you have to change the way of communication as per the requirement. That's very clear. Whether it is speaking, whether it is the gestural communication, or whether it's the oral communication, written communication. Moreover, why you have to change? You have to change as per the requirement of the receiver. So it's dynamic, very dynamic, ever changing. It helps to establish mutual understanding between 2 people. See, if you are in, if I talk to you and I say, bonjour monsieur, qu'est-ce que vous comez? Now you won't be able to understand. Bonjour means good morning, monsieur means in French, good morning sir. So when I talk in French, you won't be able to understand. So there should be something which has a common understanding between 2 people. That kind of understanding should be there. It gets completed only after feedback. Of course, yes, without the response, no communication will be complete. So you have to have some kind of response for the communication. It's a continuous process. It's never ending. The time you find everybody dead, then there is no communication, because still people are there, they are going to communicate. So when you all sleep and when you are not meeting each other, that's the time when you don't communicate. Otherwise everybody communicates. So when office gets over, then people don't communicate. So that means that the office or the school just gets with no work, that's dead place, and so no communication. So till the time people are there, it keeps on happening. It happens every day, morning, evening, every time. It's a continuous process. So the flow of information is either formal or informal. The informal and formal communication leads to formal organization and informal organization. What we are going to talk about is, we are going to talk about formal communication and informal communication. Now, in an organization where there is a superior or subordinate, when a superior talks to subordinate or subordinate talks to the superior, or when they talk at the same level, or when they talk, superior of one department talks to subordinate of another department, all is formal communication, because there is a proper chain of command. So formal communication flows through official channels. That's it, there is a chain of command. This official channel actually means chain of command. So where you have chain of command, there is an official channel designed in the organization chart. So formal communication comes something like this, that superior is talking to like this, or it can go till here we can say, or it can go like this. So if this is a superior and this is a subordinate, this is the chain of command. This communication may take place between a superior and a subordinate. So a superior and a subordinate and a superior, so a subordinate and a superior, and among same cadre employees or managers. Okay. Now, what exactly do we mean by this? I'll just complete this out here for you. Communication may be oral or written, but generally recorded and filed in the office. So written communication is generally recorded and filed in the organization. Oral is what we are doing right now, oral communication. The video which is going to come is going to be oral communication, but this is all is written communication. So there was a mistake, spelling mistake, so I rectified it out here. So recorded and filed in the organization. Formal communication may be further classified as vertical communication or horizontal communication. We are coming to the same thing right now. Now, formal communication, like it said that the formal communication can be vertical. What exactly do we mean by vertical communication? Now, this is first vertical, second in vertical, after vertical is horizontal, and third is diagonal. Now, starting with the first, vertical can be either, this is 1A or 1B. It can be either upward or it can be downward. Now, how is it upward and downward? Refers to flow of communication from subordinate to superior. From subordinate to superior is upward communication. How is it downward? Refers to flow of communication from superior and subordinate. So, superior, or rather we should write superior to subordinate. Superior has to speak something to the subordinate. This is the kind of downward communication. I'll give you an example out here. Upward communication example is when you talk about subordinate going to the superior, he may get a leave, grant for leave signed by superior. Okay, that's upward communication. Downward communication is some kind of a memo or some kind of meeting, a general meeting is to be held, so that kind of message which is recorded and has to be signed by people, that is sent to the subordinate, is what is downward communication. Some kind of message from the boss or some kind of order from the boss is what is downward communication. When we talk about the horizontal communication, see, I have drawn it for you. Superior, subordinate, this, like from subordinate to superior, it will be upward communication. From superior to subordinate, it will be downward communication. Then we go to the horizontal communication. Now, what exactly do we mean by horizontal communication? I have drawn it out here for you. This is a superior. So, it takes place between one division and another. Two people at the same level working here. This could be, if you talk in terms, this could be a production manager. Okay, this could be a production manager, and this could be a, let's say, marketing. Okay, marketing manager. So, production manager and marketing manager both talking to each other, that is horizontal communication. Next is diagonal communication. This takes place between superior of one department to subordinate of another department. So, this is production manager and this is sales executive. This is from the subordinate from the sales side, and this is superior from the production side. They can have also communication. So, when we talk about formal communication includes vertical, it includes vertical, upward, downward, it includes horizontal or lateral, it includes diagonal. I have drawn the diagrams out here also. Horizontal is at the same level, it is also called lateral communication. Upward communication, subordinate to superior. Downward communication, from superior to subordinate. Diagonal communication, superior of one department to subordinate of another department. This is what formal communication is all about. We'll just do the other things about the communication network which is existing in formal communication, and the next of the things with the next board. To continue with the formal communication, we come to communication network. Now, formal communication will not be complete until unless we discuss about what communication network. What is communication network? The pattern through which communication flows within the organization. Now, when you use a word pattern out here, the pattern through which communication flows within the organization is indicated through communication network. So, the pattern which we follow for the formal communication to flow is known as nothing else but communication network. Now, here we have first chain, second is wheel, third is circular, fourth is free flow, and fifth is inverted wheel. Starting with the chain. This is simple single chain of command. How it works? Chain is like A communicates, A is a superior, he communicates with his subordinate B. This subordinate is superior to someone else, he communicates with C. C is his subordinate but superior to now D, and D is the subordinate. A will communicate, is the first one to communicate, D is the last one to communicate, and this finishes off the communication. So, usually the communication goes like this, or if the D wants to say something, the communication may go like this, but it's in the chain. They don't move out of their chain, they don't deviate, they don't do anything else at all. This network exists between superior and subordinate, Since many levels exist in an organization structure, the flow of communication is from every superior to his subordinate through single chain, simple single chain. Whether you have 3 levels, that is top, middle and lower level structure, or whether you have 5 level structure or you have 7 level structure, single chain will be used wherever superior subordinate are there. Next we come to is wheel network. Now, in wheel network, here A, he is the leader. Okay, he is the leader. He communicates with B, he communicates with C, he communicates with D, he communicates with E. He is the one who is communicating with everyone. He is the hub of the wheel, he is the center of the wheel, and communication takes place through him only. In this network, all subordinates are under one superior and communicate through him only. He he acts as a hub of the wheel, that is subordinates are not allowed to communicate among themselves. So he is the one who acts as a hub of the wheel, he is a center of the wheel, he is a center of every activity which is taking place in the organization, formal communication. You can take something like a sole proprietorship, where the sole proprietor is the one who communicates with everyone. This is a simple chain of command which is happening in every organization. This can be a sole proprietorship because people are allowed to communicate but they cannot decide anything. Here, as a sole proprietor, he decides everything. He is the one everyone has to communicate with. So you can take something like that happening in a wheel kind. Wheel happens in the organization, formal network happens in the organization when the organizations are very large and there is one group leader, and the subordinates have to communicate with him only within his group. They cannot discuss the particular kind of project with anybody else. Alright. In circular network, we have proper, suppose A communicates with B and E. So what suppose he has to communicate with these two adjoining persons. In that case, B will communicate with A and C. Then here C will communicate with B and D. They are communicating. So he is communicating with B and D. D is communicating with C and E. So here is E, and E is communicating with whom? D and A. In this, people are moving in a proper circle, talking to everyone, but like this, right? In this network, the communication moves in a circle. Each person can communicate with his adjoining two persons, adjoining two people. Here, flow of communication is slow. Of course, yes. Why? Because once communication will take place from here to here, then it will reach here, and from here it will reach here. Suppose he wants to communicate something very urgently to E, cannot. We'll have to pass it on through D, and D will pass it on to E. So that is what the circular communication is all about. Next, we come to free flow communication. Anyone can talk to anyone out here. A can speak to B, C, D, E. How? A is speaking to B, then A is speaking to C, A is speaking to D, A is speaking to E. Similarly, all people can do the same thing. So even B can speak to who all? C, D, E and A, and so on. So even here, if you talk about C, C can speak to who? C can speak to who all? B, D, E, A. D can speak to again E, A, B, C. Anyways, E can speak to A, B, C, D. Anyone can speak to anyone. So in this network, each person can communicate with others freely. There is no stoppage of communication. The flow of communication is very fast. Usually this happens when you have an orientation or when there is a meeting in the organization or some kind of seminar is there. All people from all the complete organization, they can talk to each other. So that's where the communication becomes free flow. Inverted V. Now, subordinate here, okay. Subordinate communicates to the superior. This is the superior. And subordinate can also communicate to superior's superior. Who's superior? Superior. Now this is the B is superior. So if I tell C something, if C tells something to B, B can communicate to A. But if B delays, C can directly communicate with A. D communicates something to B. B has to communicate to A. He delays, he can directly communicate to A. In this network, a subordinate is allowed to communicate with his immediate superior. You are supposed to speak, as well as superior's superior. Only prescribed communication takes place here. In my organization where I am teaching, I can talk to my immediate coordinator. My coordinator takes time to respond. I talk to the principal. So we have this inverted V kind of a structure. That's why we can understand that it happens in the organization, and I think it happens in many organizations where you speak to your coordinator delays the decision. So you can go and talk to your the superior of your superior, that is your coordinator. Superior is principal of the school. So you can communicate. That's how inverted V works. This is about complete different types of communication network, and this is different types of communication network, and these are purely formal network, because we are going to do the informal, different types of informal communication network next. Come to is informal communication. What is informal communication? Communication that takes place without the formal chain of command or chain of communication is known as informal communication. So we have the definition out here. Communication that takes place without following the formal lines of communication is said to be informal communication. Now, the other name for informal communication is grapevine. It is referred to as the grapevine because it spreads throughout the organization with its branches going out in all directions with no regard to levels of authority. So, when you people talk or communicate freely to anyone, then you don't give regard to the authority or which level the person is working. So, grapevine is something like, if you just talk about a grapevine, we can say something like this, which the vineyard, if you have seen, it is difficult to locate the source. We do not know where the things are starting from. If you just talk about the vineyard, there is like a lot of overlapping here. So when you are talking similarly in terms of informal communication, you do not know, you cannot locate the source, and that is a reason, and it actually it's widespread. So that's why it is known as informal communication, rumor or grapevine. Now, example, workers chit-chatting in a canteen about behavior of superior or discussing about a rumor is again grapevine. I usually call it like something like this, that when a group, when we all friends meet together and when we chit-chat about somebody, so what do? We talk, we usually don't tell that person, but we talk about that person, something like that. Like if you are angry with your teacher, you will never go and tell teacher, we are angry with you. You will just go and tell your friend, I don't know what's wrong with her. She is behaving like that with me, my teacher is behaving like that with me. Or sometimes what happens is, when you get less marks in your test, what do? You usually come out and say, I don't know why she's angry, she must have fought with her husband, that is why she is doing that. That you will tell your friend, not to the teacher. The moment you tell the teacher, there would be a problem. So that's what informal communication is. It is for satisfying your social, cultural needs. It's for satisfying your need towards, relaxing your mind, something like that. So that's why informal communication comes into the scenario. Grapevine is also called rumors. Yes, it is called, like I told you, grapevine, rumor and informal communication mean the same. There are limitations of informal communication. The grapevine spreads rapidly and sometimes gets distorted. If you've ever played Chinese whisper, you will come to know that when people there are a lot of people, and there's a big chain of people, and when you pass on your message from one person to other in the ear, you come to know that by the time the last person says, it's something distorted, the meaning has been lost or the words have been lost, there's an omission of the words, something or the other happens. So why? Because if there are too many channels, the communication gets lost. Same happens with the grapevine. When there are too many channels to know, too many channels to know, it gets distorted. It is very difficult to detect the source of such communication. You do not know where the thing has come from. Suppose you want to know, this person got the information. So he says, from here I got the information. Now this person got the information from here, or he got the information from here, or he got the information from here, or from here, or from here, from here, from here. So difficult to know, so very difficult to know where did the person get the information from. It also leads to generate rumor which are not authentic. Rumors are always, they are any type of rumor, they are covered with lots of spices, little bit of mirch masala which we call, and you need little garnishing and you need little chili flakes, and then only the rumor becomes spicy. It is said that rumors are just like hot potatoes. You pick them up and you drop them like that, and they just play their role. So informal discussions sometimes hamper work environment. Yes, they do. They hamper the work environment. Why? Because while you're working and there is a lot of informal communication, people are busy communicating or chit-chatting or satisfying their social needs and spreading rumors, the environment in the organization may get spoiled. Merits of informal communication. Grapevine channel carry quick transmission of information. Quick. Like I told you, rumors are like hot potato. Drop and it just, the moment you pick up a hot potato, you drop it. Similar is the thing. You drop a rumor and people know about it. It reaches everybody's ear within no time. Informal channels are used by managers to transmit information so as to know the reaction of subordinates. Sometimes when we want a formal policy or some kind of rule to be implemented, we call some people informally and we just pass on the information, and then we tell them just see the reaction of the people and come back and inform us. Or sometimes we directly tell our employees and see their reaction. So the informal communication and reaction is easier to know, whereas formally people would like to hide out their reaction because they don't want to displease their bosses. Next is last point for merit. An intelligent manager should make use of positive aspect of informal channels and minimize the negative aspect of channels of communication. Yes, if you are a smart manager, get people to informally communicate with them, know your problems, talk to them, discuss things, so that it's easier for you to implement any kind of policy anytime. So informal communication plays a very, very important role, and it's in the hands of the managers to actually make use of the informal communication in the right manner. Next we do is the various networks of Crippen communication or the informal communication. Next we talk about is informal communication network. We have out here 4. One is single strand, second is probability network, third is gossip network, and then we have cluster. Single strand talks about the single chain of command. Even informally, you communicate with each other in a formal chain of, in a kind of chain of command. You cannot say formal chain of command, in a kind of chain of command. So in single strand network, each person communicates to the other in sequence. So if this is A, will communicate to B, will communicate to C, D, E, F, and they will talk in sequence if they have to say anything. And in case if F has to communicate anything, they will also communicate with each other. This is informal communication happening. They are just gossiping around or rumors or something they are talking about, but then they are talking in a single strand. In gossip network, each person communicates with all on non-selective basis. So there is no selection. Anyone can gossip with anyone around. So this one can communicate with this one can communicate with this one, they do communicate systematically. It can be vice versa also. Anyone can communicate with anyone anytime. This is what is gossip network. Next is probability network. Now here in probability network, the individual communicates randomly. So there is random communication with other individual. Like if this one is planning to communicate, he is communicating with A, he is communicating with B, he is communicating with C, he is communicating with D. But if E is out here, he is not communicating with E. So he is just communicating with people just around him or randomly with anybody without any thinking process, just random communication, informal. Okay, let me talk to this person. Like production manager is there, he sometimes stands and talks with one person, then he talks to another person, or he communicates a message to one person to another person, and so on, without thinking about like whom is he speaking to. Last comes is cluster. In cluster, the individual communicates with only those people whom he trusts. Cluster is the most popular. This is your board question. It has come once also in the organization. How cluster? See, if this is A, he is communicating to B, he is communicating to C, he is communicating to D. He is not communicating with E, he is not communicating with F. E, F, G, H, G. He is not communicating with G. Why? Because he is communicating with the people he trusts. So here A has trust on B, C, D. He trusts them, and that is why he is communicating with all of them. And that is what is known as cluster kind of informal communication network. That is all for communication network. I will be doing barriers to communication in next video. Till then, bye bye. Enjoy yourself.